Hello everyone and welcome back to episode 8 of our Let's Learn series for Victoria 3, where we are playing Serbia, a one-state minor power in Eastern Europe wedged between Austria and the Ottoman Empire, currently a protectorate of the Ottoman Empire, and our goal for this playthrough is to gain independence and liberate or unite all the Serbian provinces, which are the 5 provinces around our starting state of northern Serbia. To that end, we have been working over the past 12 years on growing our population, including by opening up our borders to making our state as attractive as possible to all the migrants. And we have been receiving about 10,000 migrants a year for a few years now. We have also basically built up our economy to grow our GDP. We start off with 25,000 workers unemployed, get those employed, put some peasants into kind of industries, and we've quadrupled our GDP. Our literacy has remained roughly the same intentionally. We're up to 10 average standard of living now, 8.6 importantly for our lower strata, up from 5.6, right? And we've gained so far almost 100,000 people, which is great, right? And almost a third of our nation is proudly loyalist. And so where we find ourselves in 1848 is as follows. We passed charity hospitals law. That was the first law we passed by including the Orthodox Church into our government. Since then, we haven't touched our laws all that much, other than passing poor laws due to 2 petitions from peasants. Now, the first time they petitioned, we tried to pass a law, but the landowner's interest group stalled it and then basically derailed it. And the second time we tried it just a couple of years ago is we managed to pass it after a lengthy legislative process. Probably took us 2 years or so. Again, after landowners almost tanked it, and we had to start from scratch again with 2 setbacks, but we did manage to push it through and make 80,000 of our peasants loyal. Right? And the autocrat, our King Miloš Obrenović, an old and experienced political operator, right? Expert political operator. He's honorable and persistent, right? He knows how to listen to the people, right? He is an autocrat and a monarch, but he is, the father of the fatherland, the father of the people. So he listened and passed poor laws. Orthodox Church then also requested to pass censorship to guard against any subversive elements as our economy industrializes and our society attempts to liberalize. What a crazy notion. So those are the laws we passed, and generally, we started off with just landowners in our government with 50% clout. They have since declined in clout progressively as other groups have gained political power, such as our unemployed and our peasants have turned into laborers and later shopkeepers, clergy, bureaucrats, and all sorts of middle class personnel mostly, and gained wealth and political power. The Orthodox Church has also increased in power because we've been bolstering from the start, and some of this is temporary because while we were passing some laws, we picked some options to compromise, with the Orthodox Church, gain their support by giving them increased political attractiveness to their interest group. Petit bourgeoisie has kind of grown in fits, right? It's as the shopkeepers gained political power, they sort of supported the petit bourgeoisie, then it fell. Now it's back out here. We have been bolstering it. We have been suppressing industrialists who have also been growing their clout quite strongly, also from the shopkeepers, those who became especially wealthy, but then have declined. Now, we have passed the latest law we passed was censorship at the end of the previous episode, and now we need to think about where we're going to take our country next, right? And what are our options, really? In fact, what should we do? And so human rights I think censorship works well for us, right? No workers' rights works well for us. Child labor allowed works perfectly fine. Legal guardianship, perfect. We get that birth rate. Poor laws, migration controls we passed. Actually, there's another law we changed. We had petite bourgeoisie as part of our government briefly to open up our borders to common cultures and religions. Of course, no one else. We don't want any rabble. We do want to help our Serbian brothers that are choking under the yoke of the Ottoman and Austrian empires in some way, and to that end we've opened up the borders to similar religions and cultures, and they have, you know, boy, have they flocked to our banner at a rate of about 10,000 people a year, about equivalent to our natural pop growth. So excellent, more workers for us and more manpower for our eventual confrontation with the Ottoman Empire and the Austrian Empire. Slavery was banned from the start, so we didn't even change anything here. Now, in terms of power structure, we're a monarchy and will remain so. We are an autocracy and will remain so. National supremacy fits us fine. State religion, the Orthodox Church has done wonderful work for our nation. Hereditary bureaucrats works fine for us. Peasant levies is a question mark. Home affairs. We could actually pass National Guard. That is not a bad idea. Who supports this? Petite bourgeoisie, armed forces, and Orthodox Church all support National Guard. Right now we have no home affairs. But the National Guard will cost us 10 bureaucracy, but it will provide us with 14 battalions that can be mobilized. Battalions in a mobilized army immediately start mobilizing at the rate based on the infrastructure of their state. Right? Better infrastructure means more battalions may mobilize at once. Mobilized and mobilizing battalions consume more military goods based on their armies' mobilization options. So as far as I understand, I think it's when we click mobilize during a diplomatic play, it means 14 battalions can be mobilized at the same time. So we'll mobilize our army quickly in the event of a war. That's how I understand this, although I'm not 100% sure about this. But importantly, we get minus 5% political movement radicalism in general, right? And we have political movements. We have had them rise up, right? Poor laws was a political movement, for example, and that has risen up twice. And we had some others. Sorry, we didn't change the way. There was a movement for, I think, tenant farmers, yeah, which we didn't go with. We remained steadfast with serfdom. So with National Guard, if we were to enact it, we'd get minus 5% political movement radicalism. Not bad. We also get minus 10% revolution speed progression, minus 10% secession progression speed. Good ones, although we don't expect any revolutions, but who knows. And we get half a percentage of conscription rate. So we'd conscript people faster in the event of a war. Pretty good, I think. Secret police, also a good one. We also have a lot of support for it. But what does secret police really give us, right? Secret police gives us +2 max home affairs institution investment, as opposed to just level 1 with National Guard. This is +2, so we could upgrade it. And the secret police provides us with minus 5% suppression impact on interest group attraction. So we could shape our nation even better. Right? We could funnel political strength of pops more efficiently. We already passed censorship. That's giving us plus 40% when we bolster to interest group attraction and minus 40% when we suppress it. And we're suppressing industrialists and bolstering petite bourgeoisie and Orthodox Church right now. This is good to maintain cohesion of our government and maintain legitimacy. We get minus 10% political movement radicalism, so as opposed to minus 5%. That's pretty good. Minus 10% revolution speed, minus 10% secession speed, and we'll be able to upgrade this to level 2 straight away as well, if not level 3. So we'll get, for example, minus 15% extra. This is a good one. But we require central archives to get secret police. Interesting. And where are we with central archives? Okay, it would need another 5 years, however. Central banking would need 3 years, and central archives would need 5. Okay. That is an option. Home affairs, something we have to look out for. We have actually access and we have broad support for it. I feel like, say, secret police would be great. But right now, our composition of clout, and interest groups is actually okay. We are pretty much where we want to be. So we don't necessarily need, like, it's not a great urgency to bolster or suppress. We've suppressed industrialists, but they only have 8.4% clout. So I feel like secret police can wait. National Guard is nice. National Guard would provide home affairs with level 1. 14 battalions can be mobilized. For the confrontation with the Turks, that would work better for us. Okay, so home affairs, let's keep that at the back of our mind. Peasant levies. First of all, everyone opposes it. Landowners oppose it. Interesting, because of their leader. And again, actually, landowners are actually in favor of peasant levies because it gives them 25% political strength. However, a leader of any interest group, guys, again, he either adds to the interest group's ideology or overrides it, right? And you see right now, interestingly, landowners are against peasant levies. And why is that? Because General Alexander Karađorđević, he's a jingoist, right? Even though he's in charge of landowners, he's a jingoist. This leader advocates an aggressive foreign policy, emphasizing readiness to go to war to advance its ambitions. I like it. A true Serb and Yugoslav. And therefore, he says, the peasant levies just doesn't cut it. We need at least a national militia or professional army, or in fact, he would love mass conscription. Unfortunately, we don't have that unlocked yet, because we would love it too. Colonization, he also wants to colonize everything. So that's good. Good that he's a leader, so hopefully we do get to mass conscription soon. Now, whether we're at peasant levies, frankly, professional army or national militia, whatever the differences are, we can have a look later. But we're not building up an army just yet. We're only 12 years. We'll need at least until 1856, I think, before we start to build up. Because I think the showdown with the Ottomans will probably be around 1860s, maybe 1870s even. So closer to the middle of the game, right? Closer to the turn of the century. So this can wait. This can wait. And, you know, politics will change. So I don't want to go into and compare these right now, since we don't know what the composition of our government will be. So we'll have to see. Okay. Hereditary bureaucrats. Okay. Mostly actually opposition. Appointed bureaucrats are kind of supported more. 40% of the clout in the country supports appointed bureaucrats. Okay, so this is potential. Well, okay, we need intelligentsia in here to actually get this enacted. Okay, so this is not going to happen. That's fine. Okay, let's leave hereditary bureaucrats as they are. What do they actually give you? So hereditary bureaucrats. Bureaucrats hold their position through traditional inheritance, passing on the responsibilities to their children. Okay. I mean, a bit backward, but that's just how we roll in 1848 Serbia. It has served us just fine, frankly, in the last 12 years. But we get minus 25% bureaucracy requirement for population cost, and we're going to have a lot of population, so that's fine. Right? Everyone knows each other, and it takes less bureaucracy to look after the population, right? Everyone knows the local aristocrat. He probably can count his villagers he serves, right? On his, keeps a good record in his diary. Plus 25% political strength of aristocrats. Okay, we don't have that many aristocrats kind of left. They're a dying breed, but it's okay. We can live with that. And they also support intelligentsia and other groups, so it's okay. We give them more political strength. Unlocks hereditary bureaucrats for government administration, which we have now enabled. Disallows professional bureaucrats for government administration. Okay. Fine, we can live with that, to be honest. This is not a bad one. We have a lot of population, so it actually helps us. Reduces the bureaucracy we need overall, which reduces the need to build government administration centers in our states, which reduces, and in those things, I mean, really, they do give us bureaucracy, but they employ labor that we need to pay wages to some middle class employees and lower strata, but they also consume paper, which we need to pay for. It's not a big expense, but it's okay. So and we already built one of those in northern Serbia. So so this minus 25% is pretty good, actually. We have a little surplus of bureaucracy. We're in a good spot. So we actually don't particularly want to touch that. So there we go. So human rights and power structure, we kind of, we had a look at those. Home affairs and army model is something we need to think about. This particular home affairs actually would be quite nice to get. Now, our economy. Start from the bottom here. Charity hospitals works just fine for us right now. No schools works just fine for us. We talked in previous episodes, what is literacy? What are the positives? What are the negatives? For those of you who haven't watched, okay, let's do a quick recap. Literacy. The good things about literacy is it increases your innovations cap, which means that if you do build universities and you start going above the base 50 innovation, right, you can build more universities and use all of that innovation on a directed research, right? For example, for us right now, we gain 50, but we can direct up to 70 on a specific research of our choice. That means we can build, 10 universities, right? And we can use all of that in our research. If we build 15, that all what overflows goes into technology spread, which is not controlled by us. That is what literacy increases. Literacy also makes it easier to gain certain qualifications, but we're fine with that. The drawbacks of increasing literacy is that 1, it puts a drag on birth rate, and 2 is that it increases the expected minimum standard of living for all pops at a rate of 20 literacy gives you +1 minimum expected. And that means pops can fall in standard of living, and that can create radicals. And I think if the differential also matters, although I'm not sure about that. But I think the differential between their level and their minimum expected matters in terms of their happiness and etc. But I need to actually double check that. So no schools works just fine for us for now. And in any case, we can pass a decree that will increase education access. So that will only cost us 100 authority. No police. Yeah, so we could go to local police. That's widely supported. And dedicated police is also widely supported. Local police, what does that give us? Plus 10% landowner political strength. No, we don't want that. Minus 20% state penalties from turmoil. We don't have any turmoil. Turmoil happens when you have a lot of radicals. So they start kind of causing widespread disorder in your states, and that starts to affect the throughput of your buildings, I think, and like lots of negative effects on your economy, and people also start migrating away from you, potentially even to places like America. Now, dedicated police force, not great. Local police force, not really worth the bureaucracy spend. I mean, no police gives us nothing. So, but dedicated police force give us +2 max law enforcements, right? So we'd immediately be able to upgrade this to level 3, and it gives minus 15% state penalties from turmoil. Again, not really relevant. Minus 5% radicals from standard of living decreases. Yeah, we're not really planning on standard of living decreases. We're doing just fine. This might be useful later when we're preparing for maybe a war and an economic upheaval. So later on, some dedicated police force would be nice, probably. So, okay, colonial affairs, we don't need. We're not going to colonize everything now. Serfdom has served us well. However, perhaps it's time, guys, to, get out of the dark ages and, try to, get in step with the times. So peasants are tied to their land in our nation and must perform labor for their feudal masters. Oof. Crikey, 1848, feudal. So our options here would really be tenant farmers or homesteading as far as now. Collectivized agriculture is a little late game as it's commercialized. So tenant farmers would give us +20, and right now serfdom gives +50% basically political strength to landowners, right? And that's what gives them that a lot of clout, and that clout, it does legitimize our government. So that's good. However, it also, they use that clout to oppose some of our, more progressive laws. So they become more resistant, or they have more ability to resist ours enacting things like poor laws, for example. So we do want to reduce the political strength of landowners eventually, and in fact it has pretty much halved since the start of the game through natural means, right? Okay. What if we got tenant farmers? If we went one level up, agricultural land is owned by hereditary elites, so they're quite happy still. Workers are not tied to the land, however, and may seek alternative employment if they can find it. That's fair. Right? That would be fair. And that's just a stepping stone, right? So everyone should be happy, and that still gives +25% political strength to landowners. Okay, unlocks some multiple new production methods. Privately owned. Free peasants on subsistence farms. Interesting. As opposed to serf, so +4 subsistence output. We have 100,000 subsistence peasants. So maybe they will be a bit more productive. But do we really care? I mean, they're soon going to become laborers and workers. Okay, privately owned. But what does serfdom unlock? Hang on. Unlocks multiple new methods. Privately owned. Okay, so it's really, it changes. Yeah, serfdom is the difference. Subsistence farms basically change. Okay, this allows free peasants on subsistence farms. And tenant farmers, this allows serfdom. Okay. But other farms are actually the same. We don't have a huge agricultural sector, to be honest. So this kind of doesn't really matter all that much for us. Okay, subsistence peasants might be a little bit happier. But the important thing is we reduce the power of political power of landowners. Okay, so that would be tenant farmers. Who supports this? Petite bourgeoisie, Miodrag Lesyanin, the leader, endorses this. Intelligentsia endorse this. Not that we care what they think. Trade unions, not that we care what they think. Industrialists endorse this. We care a little bit. Rural folk, we don't really care. But yes, it's a good thing. We care a little bit. Now, homesteading would be another option, right? And that does have some support. What does that do for us? That gives plus 25% political strength to farmers. Okay, we don't have a lot of farmers, but farmers are middle strata, sort of like farm management. And when enacted, interestingly, the petite bourgeoisie will attract middle strata pops employed in rural buildings. Okay, so farmers, and what homesteading is farmers lay claim to plots of land which they work alongside their hired laborers. So they become kind of mini businessmen, right, on their own. That's good. Put more strength in political farmers. They then join petite bourgeoisie. Excellent. And that means they don't join things like rural folk and all the other nonsense, right? They kind of, and petite bourgeoisie is largely, on the same page as landowners and Orthodox Church. So this is a good one. This is a good one. Unlocks multiple production methods, homesteading for rye farms. Okay, that means as opposed to, okay, private ownership is 100 aristocrats, and now we'll have 50 aristocrats, 50 farmers. Okay. And free peasants for subsistence. So this is, I like homesteading. Who opposes it? Okay, of course, the landowners. Okay, they get pretty upset with us, actually. Who opposes tenant farmers? Again, landowners. Okay, but you see, they oppose this change because if we look at landowners, where's their ideologies? Right, paternalistic, for example. So economic system. No, it's not about economic system. Stratocratic. Land reform, right? So they strongly endorse serfdom. They endorse tenant farmers. Why do they oppose it then? They endorse tenant farmers, but they strongly oppose homesteading. So, okay, let's have a look at that again. They strongly oppose homesteading. That I get. That makes them really upset. While we're enacting this law, and for 5 years afterwards, they gain -20 slowly. In 5 years, it will decay slowly to -2. Why are they? I thought they're endorsing. Hang on a second. Doesn't it say they endorse it? Tenant farmers? Just they oppose it. Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. What about, is it this guy? Ideology jingoist. He doesn't really care about land reform. But here, stance on land reform. Endorse tenant farmers. Endorse. Oh, but they strongly endorse serfdom. That's why. So yeah. Okay. If we had homesteading enacted, they will always push for tenant farmers. But since we already have serfdom, which is their much preferred option, because they strongly endorse serfdom, obviously they oppose moving away from serfdom to tenant farmers. That makes sense. But what they really hate is moving from serfdom to homesteading. That is a leap too far, potentially, for them. Okay. So we'd have to kind of fight them out. This will be more difficult to pass. This would be... So it's kind of the same. Actually, it will be equally difficult to pass either. It's just it will piss off the landowners even much more. But okay. Homesteading, I like it. We funnel political strength to petite bourgeoisie and away from landowners. I like it. Serfdom would be a good one. Land-based taxation. So currently, we're on land-based taxation. And that means, okay, landowners support this law, a traditional form of land-based taxation collected mainly from the peasantry. Right, current revenue, 1.3 thousand. We just have a 4% income tax rate, 20% consumption tax rate, 0.4 land tax. That's a land tax on peasants. No one else is taxed. That is good. So taxes are super low right now on everyone except peasants. And that is good because that helps with standard of living for the lower strata especially, which helps population growth rate, which is what we want to keep as high as we possibly can. And I'm pretty sure this is kind of the max we could possibly make it right now. Right, whereas peasants, okay, peasants get taxed. It's a shame, but such is life. You know, stop working in subsistence farms. What are our options? Per capita taxation would be a tax system that disproportionately taxes the poor through a combination of income and per capita taxes. So this is the one that would give us a poll tax, i.e. a tax of, at very low level, it would be 0.4. At medium, it would be 0.7 per person. Right? So this might potentially, we might pass this when we're fighting a war, because if we grow our population over the next 10 years by 200,000, right? And if the war happens in 20 years, that will be another like 400,000 or 500,000, right? We institute this poll tax, we would have a massive budget surplus, I would assume. Our GDP will grow over time as well. So this is probably the strongest option, right? We will, even right now, we'd get plus 1.1k. That's strong, but we would decrease this poll tax, given it's a flat tax per person. It obviously hit the lowest strata. It will hit their standard of living, get them more radical, or at least get them out of loyalty, right? So they would have a big political effect, right? It means it would reduce the approval of many of the interest groups. That's not great. And also it would reduce population growth rate, you know, probably by some bit, probably down to like 1% for 1.3. So, option. Proportional taxation. Well, we need egalitarianism for it, so that's going to come later. We need socialism for graduated taxation. Consumption-based taxation, minus 50% consumption tax cost in terms of authority, minus 25% bureaucracy population cost multiplier. This actually isn't a bad option. Is a tax system where there are no direct income or per capita taxes, and instead revenues raised through taxing the consumption of goods. Let's have a think. And what do we need for that? Nothing. Well, yeah, it's just no one supports it. Rural folk and petite bourgeoisie actually support this too. Armed forces oppose this. Interesting. No, everyone else just doesn't care. Well, maybe we should pass it while nobody cares, because we don't have that many upper strata people. Maybe that's why. But let's go to our population. Hang on. And have a look. Who consumes what and what can we tax? Yeah, so we don't have a lot of upper strata. But for example, luxury clothes. Right, we don't want to hit our lower strata. We want to raise taxes, potentially. Raise taxes while keeping our population growth high. That means not hitting the standard of living of lower strata and, as far as we can, middle strata. Although our middle strata is, frankly, secure, 24. I mean, they're like on par with our upper strata, frankly. Our middle class is very wealthy. Okay, let's have a look, for example, just to understand. So here's consumption tax. We go here. Right now we have 0. But you put it on a specific good, and it's depending on how much this good is consumed, depends how much authority will cost. And with consumption-based taxation, this with 500 would go down to just 250. And we have a lot of authority, right? We're monarchy and autocracy, so it actually works well with us. It gives us something to spend our authority on. Right now we're spending it on decrease, and we're spending it on bolstering and suppressing. Alright? And we still have 560 left. So if these were decreased by 50%, we could put in quite a few of these. Now, we're not going to tax grain, because that will hit the lower strata. Clothes, no as well. Luxury clothes we could tax, but that only gives us 186. Yeah, luxury furniture gives us 132. Yeah, to be honest, we don't have enough population. We don't have enough of domestic demand for these goods because our population isn't that high. And it's not that wealthy, I guess, unfortunately. Right? Because even if we put like 2 or 3 of these, we could get 1 grand, right? And this slider doesn't work for those. Whereas, as you saw, for per capita tax, we already would get right now plus 1.1k from poll tax. If we move this to mid, we'll probably get like 2.5k, because it's like almost 100% increase. We go from 0.4 land poll tax to 0.7. Yeah, so we go from 1.1 to definitely about 2.5 grand, and then up to like 4 if we really had to finance our war effort. So yeah, consumption tax doesn't look like a viable option. Right, even if this was reduced to like 50 or 150 authority, we could put 5 of these, let's say. We're not going to tax grain for sure. Clothes, tobacco, furniture, but yeah, even these like 3, so 507, and we could maybe grab 1,000, and that's it. Like well, in fact, does the actual tax rate change? Hang on a second. Land-based taxation, consumption-based taxes at very low. Okay, the actual tax rate does change. Plus 20% consumption tax rate. Whereas at medium, it will be 35. Okay, so that slider does actually work for consumption tax. It does. Okay. So actually, yeah, we could squeeze out 1.1k at low level. So that means as we move up to consumption tax rate, maybe we could squeeze out almost the same revenue from consumption-based taxation. Interesting. Possible. Right? Minus 25% bureaucracy. And it works well because we have a lot of authority. So this actually works well. Minus 25%. And yeah, and it would reduce bureaucracy. So yeah, okay. So per capita or consumption. These are the options. We don't have the tech for the other two. Okay. Let's have a think. But to be honest, passing these right now will be quite a pain. Whereas serfdom, I think there's more traction there. Now, economic system. Right. And here we have pre-industrial subsistence economy with little central control. Dear me. That is pretty bad. Landowners obviously support this. What does this give us? Plus 25% private construction allocation. Okay. So that means when 2 buildings are being built, one by us, i.e. the government, and one by private sector, we get 75% of construction capacity and they get 25%. So we always get sort of priority. Minus 15% market price impact. Okay, we talked about this before when we invented the stock exchange, but effectively, this is really bad. This is a good one to get rid of. In fact, it should be a priority right now, because this will effectively make all of our industries more profitable simply by virtue of being able to sell their products at a closer to Ottoman market price as a whole, without kind of middlemen, or you can say transportation costs, kind of getting in the middle. So that will raise prices by like, sort of some percentage, I guess, for each industry. Minus 25% taxation capacity we get from traditionalism. Okay, we'll get rid of that. Not that we're in need of taxation capacity, but still nice. We would get rid of that if we got rid of it. It does give us minus 25% bureaucracy population cost multiplier, which is quite nice. But that's fine. We can get more bureaucracy. It would definitely outweigh the 15% MAPI impact. We can subsidize infrastructure. We can subsidize trade centers right now. Nothing else. So we can't. But okay, so we might be able to subsidize more things with other economic systems, and we get a massive penalty to investment pools for everybody, which it matters the most for our shopkeepers right now. So we need to get rid of this, basically. We need to get rid of this ASAP, but how? Landowners, so for example, interventionism, industrialists, and trade unions support this. Landowners hate this. Agrarianism, industrialists endorse this, rural folk, and trade unions. Who opposes this? Landowners. Industry banned, laissez-faire. Okay, we can't. How do we get rid of this? What about petite bourgeoisie? What do you want? Where's the economic system? Taxation. They don't have a view. Really? Landry. Okay. Yeah, we need to get rid of traditionalism, frankly. That's what needs to happen. That will give a boost to our GDP for sure. Let's Have a think. Okay, though it doesn't look like this is obtainable at the moment. Serfdom we can get rid of. Can we get homesteading? Can we... I mean, it is going to... Let's go ahead and reform our government. Get petite bourgeoisie in. Now, it is unfortunate that we'll lose legitimacy. Oh, just shy of legitimate government. It's a little bit frustrating. Can we kick out the Orthodox Church? Not really. Yeah, we're going to lose even more. Right, now how is legitimacy calculated again, guys? As a reminder, right, we get 10 from responsive government because we passed a petition from Orthodox Church to pass censorship. We get 10% from 10 from very low taxes. We get 50 from including landowners, just having them in there, no matter what their clout. We get 50, so that's already 70. Total clout of government is plus 85. That's from 71 of clout, and that's why when we take out the Orthodox Church, we'll lose 30 clout times 120, so we actually lose like 40 of this. Right, yeah, so half of this is composed by Orthodox Church's clout. Okay, and when we drop Orthodox Church, we do reduce the size of government penalty. And the government ideology, maybe even that changes because of differences. Okay, well, let's get petite bourgeoisie in. It's a good time because we get, right now, we have this 20 extra very low taxes we always had. We get an extra 10 right now. So perhaps if they grow in legitimacy, glowing clout, petite bourgeoisie will actually be able to get onto legitimate government. Right? It will, like, going into contested government will give -1 to opposition interest groups, but I mean, intelligentsia already hate us, and not that we care. Industrialists we're suppressing, it won't change their support. Should we perhaps stop suppressing? Let's stop suppressing the industrialists for the moment. Let's get petite bourgeoisie on board. Now, what if we get industrialists on board? Oh, okay, they have some room to grow. Let's get petite bourgeoisie on board. Do we need them on board? Hang on. Yes. Tenant farmers. We could... Petite bourgeoisie endorses this. So we could first pass tenant farmers and then pass homesteading, right? Because the reason why homesteading is that it will give... Also, remove 50% political power, political strength from landowners. It will cripple them and move people towards petite bourgeoisie. That is why we want it, right? And they are... Wait, let's just double check that they actually do. Migration controls. No, they actually don't care about land reform. Except this man. No, he does care. Land reform. He's neutral towards tenant farmers, homesteading, collectivized agriculture, and commercialized. Okay. He's neutral, so... The chance that tenant farms will be enacted must be above 0% through support from either interest group and government. Okay, but no one endorses it. Even if we include petite bourgeoisie, they just don't care. Right, he's neutral. He strongly opposes. Sorry, it's not very clear to me, to be honest, whether serfdom. Tenant farmers at least will be temporary approval changes from enactment. "31% of the clout endorses this. Miodrag Lesyanin does endorse this. Intelligentsia, industrialists. Okay, we're gonna have to just go ahead and try it. Let's put in petite bourgeoisie and confirm. Let's just think, do we really need this? Or are we just fine living with serfdom and waiting it out a little bit? I mean, how urgent is it to pass tenant farmers or homesteading? This would simply shift political clout to petite bourgeoisie, but maybe we wait for landowners to lose more. I mean, traditionalism, keeping our government legitimate, building up loyalists. This would, it would be really nice to get rid of this. Traditionalism. Can we at least go to agrarianism, a rural economy emphasizing agriculture, development and community? So can we at least get agrarianism? Okay, besides that. Who supports this? Industrialist rural folk. Endorse. Landowners oppose this. At 23. I guess we need to, we need to wait for industrialists to endorse this. But the thing is, if industrialists endorse this, they are kind of... even if they endorse it, putting them in government would create so much ideological differences that it would be illegitimate, to be honest. I mean, what is agrarianism? What would it give? Yeah, it's the MAPI impact that I hate, and well, and the investment pool contribution. That is what we need to change. The other things aren't that bad. The ability to subsidize things doesn't really matter right now. Okay. Agrarianism. Okay. Okay, we can't get intervention because disallowed by serfdom in land reform. Industry banned. Okay, we don't want to get the laissez-faire. Disallowed by serfdom, as are any of the other ones. So it's really, our choices are agrarianism, or we need to change serfdom to tenant farmers, and that will unlock traditionalism and stuff. Unlock interventionism. Okay, so we can either go to, but I would prefer to go to agrarianism right now. That would be the one big change. Interest groups support. Why does it say that landowners support agrarianism? Hang on. I guess it's probably like the second best option. Let's see, paternalistic economic system. Where is it? Economic system. Strongly endorse traditionalism. Okay, endorse agrarianism. Neutral towards interventionism. Okay. These guys endorse agrarianism. Endorse homesteading. So maybe we need the rural folk to grow. Deary me. Particular is isolationist. Okay. Okay, that was a pretty deep overview of our laws, guys, but we need to make a decision. Can we at least get tenant farmers? Get that moving? Reduce the power of landowners and then reform our economy? That is... that has some potential. I just want to understand. Okay, I hope this works. And like as I mentioned, any interest group in opposition that is not marginalized can be put in government. That doesn't change, doesn't cost anything, and doesn't give any benefits. But when we put them out of government, it will make, it will make 1,000 radicals. Or if they were loyalists, they become neutral. So, okay, let's put in petite bourgeoisie. Go ahead and confirm. Let's go to our laws. Let's go serfdom. Let's go, we could gun for homesteading. I mean, it's the same difficulty. We still get 15% chance, and we still get the same opposition. We might as well get homesteading and start moving our country to a kind of middle-class society. Right? Let's see. And if it fails, we'll go with tenant farmers. Right, but let's go ahead and go with homesteading. Go ahead, let's try and enact it. Will annoy the landowners a lot. A lot. Landowners are unhappy. 20% agriculture tax income. Okay, it doesn't really matter. Whatever happened to the idea that the nobility should be left to perform its duties without being hounded by tax collectors? It is time to bring those days back. Not sure. I mean, we do need to maintain monarchy, autocracy, and all these things. So we kind of need the landowners in power. And they'll have to remain at least part of our government, no matter their cloud, just to keep that 50 legitimacy for another 15 years or so, a little bit more even. But okay, let's go ahead and unpause and keep rolling. Yeah, let's see. This will be interesting. It'll be a big change for us, but it will be a big positive change. Meanwhile, yep, so in our construction queue we have tooling and then artillery. We're running a small deficit, which I'm not a fan of. We need banking 3 years. Jeez. We need to grow our GDP somehow to get more minting, or we need to grow the population. Yep. Yeah, if we're not building anything, we're actually adding to our peasants. So every simple peasant that migrates to our nation actually gives us 0.4 of tax. We could actually put in a small, because I don't want to. Right, we have just a little bit of credit less. Actually, could we put in a consumption tax or two? Could we put luxury clothes, luxury furniture? Who consumes all this stuff? Tea. Let's have a look. Let's tax our aristocrats. Luxury clothes, get services. Okay, luxury clothes also hits our middle strata. I mean, they're pretty rich, like, so don't cry about it, guys. Just as long as tobacco is consumed by our lower strata, we don't want to touch that. But even liquor they consume. I guess groceries they also consume. Coal. Tea. Tea only these guys consume, right? So tea we can hit. Porcelain. Coffee. Wine. Porcelain. Okay, we have authority though. So kind of why not? Opium. Opium would definitely taxing. Nobody should be consuming opium in our land. And a coffee. Jeez, that's a lot of taxes. Okay, we're not... Oh, we're gonna... No, we need the enactment time. Oh, dearie me. Homesteading. We do want the enactment time. So we don't... Okay, well, it's fine. This will take a while. We've got nothing else to do, so it's okay. Fine. We'll have to sacrifice enactment time to balance our budget. Surprise, where's our money going? Let's have a look. What are we... Why are we spending? Spending on construction. Okay, so once we stop constructing... Okay, that will help us. Government wages. Okay, we built a government administration. That's costing us 500k. Empiricism unlocked. Okay, let's pause. And an epistemological study... Philosophy. An epistemological philosophy deriving knowledge from empirical evidence. Information gathered from experiences rather than cultural norms or religious beliefs. That's what empiricism is. What does it do? Plus 10% influence. 0.5% per wealth education access. And plus 1 max education institution investment. Interesting. So this will start... This will raise education for everyone at a rate of 0.5 point to standard of living. So for example, lower strata, it's right about 6 or 8 standard of living. So that's plus another 3% or 4% of education access. So literacy is going to start creeping up. I assume to about towards 20%. So this is going to put a damp on our population growth rate, unfortunately. Yeah, but it will increase those qualifications access and I guess technological spread as well. Fine. Okay, let's balance this out. Right. And then, yeah, we'll probably actually, I mean, we only have 2 buildings left to construct, so these consumption taxes won't be there for too long. Doesn't look like our middle or upper strata actually care about these taxes. I mean, they can afford anything. Homesteading has attracted new supporters, increasing enactment success by 15. Yes. Perfect. So what are our chances? Success. So 30% will progress to the next phase. 8% of advance. Okay, and that's base success times 2. So 30 minus stall chance. Oof, and debate is the plug. Landowners. At least their cloud is falling off a cliff, so that's positive. Let's see if we manage to pass homesteading. Blessed are the meek. This is unrelated to the enactment of homesteading, it's just an event. The Orthodox Church in northern Serbia are assuring peasants, Bulgarian Orthodox, that despite the harsh conditions of their lives, they are serving the greater good of the Serb nation. Serfs shall be rewarded in the hereafter for their service. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Russia is bankrolling us. Thank you. Imbue them with the loyalty. Imbue them with loyalty to the state. Yeah, plus 50% loyalists from standard of living increases, as opposed to plus minus 50% radicals from standard of living decreases. We are mostly increasing standard of living. Hopefully we'll continue to do so, so that's the better option. Okay. Perfect. Now, we've had a good look at the laws, right? I think we're on top of everything, so I'm gonna go in and speed this up to speed 4. You know, and in future episodes we will progressively, you know, start to speed up, as I think I've explained all the core mechanics and the loops. Okay, let's just go to speed 3 and have a look what's going on here. So unfortunately, the wages in our economy are fairly high everywhere, even in our subsistence farms. So we can't pay, yeah, this is why we can't pay high enough wage, because we're not profitable enough, right? So it says the wages in food industry, for example, based on this and that. Hang on. A donation of knowledge. Event in northern Serbia. Okay, let's slow this down. Zvezdan Dapčević has offered to spend some of their personal wealth to fund the creation of a university in northern Serbia, though this will likely give industrialists some influence. The Zvezdan Dapčević University will be a proud bastion of learning in these times of rapid progress, where knowledge truly is power. Okay, we're gonna have to pay for it out of our budget, but it is a free university. 2 innovation, plus 4%. 5% interest group attraction. Okay, that's got a wonderful idea. I mean, I don't want to say no to university. It will give us, okay, employ some pops. Let's have a look. Let's just get it just at least as an experiment, so we can see what university actually does for us. Law advancement. Homesteading has attracted new supporters, increasing enactment success by 15. Yes. 45% now. Okay, so let's, yeah, perhaps this will give us something to do as well. So let's follow this through. We got laborers. Okay, that's clear. Clerks. Low-ranking office workers performing administrative tasks in government. Russia again bankrolling us. Thank you. So clerks are, who are they? Lower-ranking office workers performing administrative tasks in government, infrastructure, and shops. Commonly part of the petite bourgeoisie, although some join trade unions. Okay, excellent. More support for the petite bourgeoisie. Excellent. 2/3 of them are joining petite bourgeoisie. They are part of the lowest strata, though. Okay. That's fine. Okay. Clergymen, what's the... Okay, they're impoverished, so level 10. So yeah, so kind of well off, upper end of the lowest strata. Yeah, some Bulgarians living side by side. Yeah, Orthodox Slavs. We welcome you. Clergymen, okay, also good. Get some support for the Orthodox Church. Their next group is rural folk. No, actually petite bourgeoisie is in there too. Okay, and academics. Researchers, doctors, lawyers, and other educated professionals studying and teaching in academic institutions. Politically, they're at the forefront of intelligentsia. Oof. Okay, so the university, okay, well, unsurprisingly. Alright. Okay, interesting. They're actually supporting Orthodox Church right now. Let's see how that evolves. Serbia, okay, we are employing people. How much is this thing costing us, though? Another 500k. Probably even more once we actually build this up. Paper is a little bit expensive. Dear me. Okay, well, 600, 700 it costs us. 4% gain in innovation. Fine, at least we didn't have to construct it. But okay, let's build this artillery and then we'll just take a breather probably and not construct anything for a while. Artillery, to be perfectly honest, buildings, we can actually pause the artillery. Hope we haven't gone into debt, have we? No, gold reserves, okay, fine. Let's build up our gold reserves. We will cancel those consumption taxes as soon as we can. For now, we kind of need a bit of support. Now. Sorry, where was I? We were looking at... we're looking at the university, right? So that's costing us 700. Theory means... Where do we get our money from? Let's just have a look again. How's that changed? Income taxes. Okay, practically nothing. Poll taxes. Okay, okay, homesteading has successfully progressed to the consideration phase of law enactment. Excellent. Okay, consumption taxes. 600. So poll taxes, see, they go down when we employ peasants into, you know, upskill jobs. Those guys only pay income tax. They're upskill jobs. Everyone in our nation pays income tax, 4%, so nothing. Right, whereas peasants pay us a flat land tax of 0.4. So that's why we get this decrease, right? That means we've built something and some peasants left subsistence farms. Consumption tax, okay, still gone up. Dividend taxes, okay, we're not actually taxing dividends. Okay, tariffs, that's why our middle and upper strata are so rich. Tariffs, 173. Okay. Import of coffee. Okay. Various things we import, I guess. Minting. This is into the Ottoman market as a whole. We're not even in control of those trade routes, but I think being part of their market, we do gain some little share of those. Russia bankrolling us again. Perfect. Investment pool transfer plus 2,300. Okay, that's because the private sector is building iron mines. Okay, diplomatic pacts. Russia bankrolling us, that's giving us 600. Okay. What do we spend on? We're actually spending, okay, we're spending a little bit on welfare payments. That's okay, we're keeping the peace, I guess. Welfare payments. Welfare payments are a form of direct subsidy paid by a country to all pops in the workforce that receive wages lower than the defined fraction of the normal wage, which is 20%. So those that get less than 20% of minimum of normal wage. And what is the normal wage? The baseline wage in a country which many buildings take into account. Government wages and military wages are based on the normal wage. It is determined from the average wages paid by industries across incorporated states. Yeah, and our industries are pretty productive, so they're paying high wages, right? So what I don't quite understand, to be honest still, guys, myself, is when we go here, I mean, we have plenty of peasants. Surely, I mean, I don't understand why are they better off being on subsistence peasants than working on like a textile mill. I guess in order for us to pay even better wages, we need to make these industries more profitable. Interesting. Plus 667. Okay, liquor and groceries. We could actually go to sweeteners here, import some sugar and build some groceries. Hopefully improve profitability of our food industries. Let's see if that happens. But yeah, the way to do this would be to increase profitability of our industries. And the way to do that is to increase the price of the output, right? I mean, our inputs are pretty cheap throughout. Like, we have nothing that's excessively expensive. Right? So the reality is that we need to... Yeah, that's the reality. We actually go ahead and resume building artillery. It's fine. It's just we don't need the gold reserves right now. Law progress to adoption. Perfect. I mean, knock on wood. I don't want to jinx it, but I'm hoping this will just pass relatively quickly. Improve relations broken because we're at maximum with France, to Sicilies, and Moldavia. Okay. It's fine with us. Okay, we're good amount of bureaucracy. Everything is well. Got infrastructure, we have taxation capacity. Things great. Population, Northern Serbia. Okay, we're still getting 8,000 migrants. Great. Population growth rates. So we're still getting 20,000 per year. Okay, heading towards 1 million. This is about as fast as I think I've ever seen a population grow, to be honest. Poor relations with France broken. Let's go ahead and get this up to speed 4. We have 43 weeks until we build artillery foundry. I decided to build it, guys, because, yeah, for now, we're okay. I don't want to build up our gold reserves from, consumption taxes. Let's just build this, pause construction if we need to, have a think, and then we'll remove consumption taxes as soon as we can. Just to, keep our pops as rich as possible and increasing our population growth. It hasn't actually affected our population growth overall, because it's really the lowest strata that matters, right? If we go to our population, let's do a quick check-in. We're 1849, right? And, okay, half, as opposed to 2/3 of our... No, 75 of our population used to be peasants, right? 75 at the start. Now it's half. Half are peasants. And they only hold 4% political strength. Wow. Peasants. Well, laborers are 1/3 of our nation. Shopkeepers are 4.6%. Clerks are 3.3%. I actually didn't realize we have that many clerks already. Servicemen. Okay, family always comes first. Stall event for the enactment of homesteading. A court clash over homesteading erupts between a few families. The early bird homesteaders each claim the same land in northern Serbia. The dispute has called the legislation into question. 3 claims, all issued by the same office, crossed the magistrate's desk. The details were correct. All 3 had legal writs from the same plot of land. Oh, let's just pause this while we're reading it. Each bore a different signature. The magistrate knew the pen strokes of those clerks well. Surely there was a mistake. Though such a simple explanation would satisfy the wild looks in the family matriarch's eyes. Okay, void the writs and organize reparations. 200 government expenses for 11 months. And land dispute concerns, so plus 15 enactment time. It's not too bad. Find the earliest signee and grant them the land. Minus 2% rural folk approval. 10% enactment time. Minus 5% success chance. No, I don't want that. Divide the land between the 3. Minus 2 landowners approval. 10% enactment time. Minus 5%. No, it's okay. Let's just take the penalty. So we spend some money and just get a 15% enactment time. Yeah. Okay, void the writs and just... Yeah, okay, no one gets it. It was a mistake. I think that's just as well. Let's go back to speed 3 at least. Landowners are at least... Let's see. Well, they'll get over it. They're at 25% clout. I thought that was 22. Okay, that seems to be ticking up a little bit. I don't think we can even suppress them. Yeah, we can't. Insufficient available authority. Okay. Okay, fine. Suppress them. Zvezdan Dapčević retires. Enact local police force political movement. Okay, low support, low radicalism. Okay, who is now leading the industrialists? Života Anastasievich. Protectionist. Stance on economic system. Neutral towards agrarianism. Endorses interventionism. Okay. This character believes that domestic industries and international trade should be closely monitored and regulated by the state. He's popular. Okay, he's honorable. Plus 25%. Plus 25 popularity, and he's literary plus 10%, plus 10 popularity. Okay, this character is a master of the craft of writing, whether as an author, editor, or publisher. Okay, this character is well known for maintaining a high personal standard. Okay. Good leader. Okay, so they were neutral, right? So he's neutral towards homesteading, and yet it allowed us to pass it, right? So, okay, that's something good to note. Right, let's see, okay. Go ahead and speed up to 4. Okay, we're coming up on the hour, so I do want to maybe get this passed. We're just a little bit over now already. Law setback. Homesteading is failing to gain traction, stalling progress and causing the law to gain a setback. Oh, man, come on. We're on the finish. Just finishing line. Screw frigate unlocked. The screw frigate is the application of screw propeller technology to create faster ships. Okay. Armed forces left. Political movement disbanded. Perfect. Improved relations broken. Ionian Island because it's 50. Ottoman Empire ended their rivalry with Russia. Oh, that is concerning. Oh, hang on a second. Austrians are again at war, are they? Why? Russia versus Austria. Okay, still a diplomatic play, but Bavaria. Okay, well, the important thing is that no one's siding with Austria. Sardinia, Piedmont, and Modena. Yeah, Ottomans again siding with Prussians, as are the Russians. Whoa. Okay, Austria. About to suffer, I think. Okay. There's a big... They have to cover a lot of ground here. Including from the south. Deary me. Okay. Okay, well, while we wait, let's keep looking at our population. Yeah, so... We kind of look to us. So clerics 3%, so then service all 1%. But who has the power? Shopkeepers. Shopkeepers are the backbone of our political system. Right, 55% of political power. Law stalled. Oh, homesteading is failing to gain traction, stalling progress and decreasing enactment success by 15%. Come on. Come on, guys, we're doing so well. I jinxed it. Yeah, okay, traders. Rewind to Austrian market has fallen. Oh. That's gonna bring down. Yeah, the petit bourgeoisie is gonna tank because the shopkeepers that were running the trade centers are gonna disband. Oh dear. That is a shame. Okay, artillery foundry has been built. Let's see, that would probably actually do pretty well right now, since we're actually supplying the artillery that the Turks are using to fight the Austrians, or are going to fight them, unless they back down. What is the war about? Right? Unpressed war goals. So, German leadership again, Tyrol, South Tyrol, open Austrian market, Austrian war operations. Then they want German leadership, conquer Silesia, open Prussian market, humiliate Prussia, Prussian war operations. Okay. Okay, immediately 100,000 dead. Boom. Let's see how this goes. Russians are advancing. Austrians are defending. Okay. Come on, please, just pass homesteading for us. What else can we build? Explosives, no. Fertilizers, no. Steel. Glassworks. Could actually be barely profitable. So, some potential. Okay, maybe we'll just attract peasants. Keep everything as is. Yeah, these are actually employed. Let's just wait for our building arts academies. Let's see what our private sector does. Meanwhile, we'll just save some money. Even without construction now, we're still only at plus 1,000. Let's put to 4. Let's see what happens with homesteading. We kind of stalled a little bit now, GDP growth, which I'm not a fan of. That's because we're not building many profitable buildings. Okay, the Austrians are again wiping the floor with the Ottomans. I don't know. It's a bit odd that the Ottomans are putting up more of a fight. I know there are some issues with military AI, to be honest, it's 1.5. That's why I'm not also in a rush to actually get to our fight with the Ottomans. On the other hand, though, the AI seems to be holding the line against Prussia and Russians smartly and attacking the Ottomans. Gonna knock them out of the war, then come back here and fight these guys. It's Smart. Law debate failed. Fared poorly in public debates, decreasing enactment success by 10%. Come on. Oh, this is bad, guys. This is really bad. Okay, let's go to speed 5. The Austrians are again. Feels like the Ottomans aren't just... I mean, I think it's some sort of bug because the Ottomans aren't even mobilizing. It can't be that the Austrians just again go all the way to Constantinople like that. Devout scandal. It has been revealed that Milutin Yankovic of the Orthodox Church has been having a secret affair with a member of the clergy. His resignation is being demanded. Oof. The very fact that this sneaky bastard thought he could get away with such a gross misuse of power shows everything wrong with the leadership of the Orthodox Church. Force him to step down or ignore it. He gains minus 25% popularity. Okay, he's tactful. He gets +1 interest group approval. He's a masterful diplomat. This character is the epitome of the diplomatic ideal. Tactful, this character is very careful in how they convey certain information. He's authoritarian, which means he likes autocracy and everything. Oh, let's just ignore it. It's fine. He's one of us. Let's ignore it. Okay. Central banking unlocked. Great. Harnessing and centralizing the banks brings an immense amount of power into the hands of the government. +10% minting, -2% loan interest rate. Excellent. Sorry, the reason I paused is I couldn't remember what's the next thing we have to be unlocked. Now, to be honest, postal savings. I'm actually going to switch this to central archives first, because postal savings will give us, you know, extra investment pool. But because we have traditionalism, we're getting a 50% penalty. So investment pool, you know, we're going to need this afterwards, perhaps after central archives. And central archives will unlock max home affairs institution if we want to do secret police, for example. Give us 25% taxation capacity, and give us standardized filing, so we can actually get more bureaucracy if we need to, which we don't need to right now, but if we're going to adopt more institutions, we will. Clandestine groups of academics in northern Serbia are plotting against the state to advance the misguided cause of the intelligentsia. We have found your blasphemous and treasonous books, your pamphlets, the shops you used to run as a front, your houses, the meeting places you thought you had kept secret. We have set them all to flame. All that is left now is your confession. Intelligentsia, I guess. Dissent must be punished. Leave them be, they pose no threat. Right? I don't think they really pose any threat. Oh, it's Austrians punching through the northern Romania, opening up a second front on the Russians. Okay, now the Ottomans seem to be holding. Not sure. Okay, Prince intervenes in political process. Debate event for the enactment of homesteading. The Prince has taken a personal interest in the ongoing debate concerning homesteading and have resolved to use his royal prerogative to ensure the law passes. Miloš Obrenović seldomly intervenes directly in matters of law, relying instead on a system of delegation and personal influence for the efficient running of his realm. While legally the Prince may exercise his royal powers at will, doing so is sure to rile up both Republicans and opponents of the law in question. The Prince's assent is all that is required. Serbia has autocracy. What do we get? Enactment of homesteading in Serbia is progressed by one phase, which means it will be adopted, but landowners, intelligence, and armed forces gain -4 approval for 5 years, for sure. Princes will be done, 10% enactment success chance. No, the Prince's assent is all that is required. Oh, thank God. Thank God we had Miloš Obrenović intervene. Just push this thing through. We now have homesteading. Farmers lay claim to plots of land which they work alongside their hired laborers. Plus 25% political strength to farmers. Conversely, also -50% political strength to landowners, right? Which they used to get from serfdom. This is a big change and a triumph for our nation, right? We finally moved away from peasants are tied to their land and must perform labor for their feudal masters. There's no more feudalism, right? Honest farmers, you know, honest wages for honest work. Excellent. So with that, let's get to, again, January 1st. Let's get to Christmas and New Year for the year of 1850. And we are now 15 years into the game, guys. The landowners are no longer powerful. Boom, minus... Yeah, they just fell off a cliff. That's a good thing. That will make it more difficult for them to resist our progressive or mildly progressive agenda. At least reformist. I wouldn't say it's progressive, but it is reformist. But there we are, guys. We're 15 years into the game. I hope you're enjoying it. I hope you're learning things. Again, give it a like if you enjoyed it. It really does help. I think it's probably the single most useful thing in the YouTube algorithm, for me at least. When videos get likes, they get spread. I can see they get more impressions, and so more people even have a chance to click on them. But otherwise, yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Hope you're learning things, and I really hope to see you in the next episode. So, bye for now.